Hello, good afternoon. It's 2 o'clock. Time for News Hour live on GTV and GBC News. You can catch the news on Facebook at the Ghana Broadcasting Corporation, also at the GTV Ghana. Also catch excerpts of the news on all other social media platforms. My name is Doreen. Let's dig into the stories in this afternoon's package. Now, the police have killed one suspected armed robber and seized a cache of weapons and ammunition after a shootout in Doma in the Bunu region. The Bunu Regional Police Commander, DCOP Joshua Cobson, disclosed this to the media in Sunyani. We'll bring you more on that story subsequently. Now let's head to Parliament, where the minority in the House has alleged that government is attempting to divert public attention from the ongoing debate over the recent reduction in cocoa producer prices. The allegation follows the announcement of a reduction of more than 1,000 Ghana cedis in the price of a bag of cocoa, a decision government attributes to declining international market prices. Addressing members of the Tertiary Students' Confederacy TESCON at Parliament on Monday, February 16, 2026, the minority leader, Alexander Penyo-Marking, claimed that the government is under pressure over the pricing decision and is seeking to shift focus away from the issue. He further encouraged the members to stay focused in the party.
A matter that is making government have sleepless nights. And government is struggling. So government is finding a way to divert attention. So somewhere I'm reading, there is an attempt to get MPP to discuss a different matter. And then one person said, look, guys, though this matter may be true, don't talk about it. Focus on the cocoa. There are others who are also tempted to say, no, but let's discuss it. I've been a majority leader before. So I know that sometimes when you are hot, you must find a way of surviving. But sometimes our friends don't get it. You read everything and you want to respond to everything. Government can even arrest somebody as a way of diverting attention. You remember in the initial stages, the cocoa, they said they should investigate the 8 years. The thing has nothing to do with whether Obie Kodi Bonibi and Ondi Bonibi. Yes, cocoa farm Chiomoka. That has nothing to do with if the procurement breaches as you allege. Okay. So the communication, we must go on one path. That's why in my main submission I said, it's important in this politics, think about tomorrow. And yes, I will best say, keep your eye on the ball. Now we have the flag bearer. Our loyalty is to the flag bearer, no more, no less, no curve, no bend, to the flag bearer.
Let's head to the University of Cape Coast, where the school has announced the establishment of African Ocean Institute on its campus to help strengthen Ghana's ability to sustainably manage its ocean and coastal resources. Making the announcement, the acting Vice-Chancellor, Professor Dennis Wolanyo Aheto, noted that the institute would advance national research into marine and coastal environment.
The economies of most African nations, including Ghana, are largely supported by maritime activities. Africa's coastal and marine spaces are central to the continent's development prospects as they contribute to food security and livelihoods, trade and biodiversity. Unfortunately, Africa's oceans and their resources face growing pressures from climate change, overfishing, pollution, habitat degradation, and weak integration between science, policy, and practice. The African Ocean Institute, which is under the College of Agriculture and Natural Sciences, has been established to respond to these challenges by providing a coherent and interdisciplinary platform that seeks to connect research, capacity building, and policy engagement with development priorities related to our marine resources. The acting vice-chancellor of the university, Professor Dennis Walanyo Ahetu, described the development as a major step in a process to strengthen Ghana's leadership in ocean and coastal knowledge, governance, and sustainable development in Africa.
The Africa Ocean Institute, under the College of Agriculture and Natural Sciences, has been established to respond to challenges by providing a coherent and interdisciplinary platform that seeks to connect research, capacity building, and policy engagement with development priorities related to our marine resources. The AOI will therefore serve as both a national and a continental hub for ocean research, policy, governance, and training to contribute to the development of Mother Ghana and the continent of Africa as a whole.
The head of Fisheries and Aquatic Science Department of the university, Professor Joseph Agrifin, spoke about the opportunities that the establishment of the institute presents.
The opportunities are enormous. We want to also promote aquaculture. Aquaculture is about what? Water. We don't rely on the capture fishery so that we can reduce the pressure on the capture fishery. We all know that the small pelagics are reducing. And it's for a reason. And it's for a reason that these illegalities at IUU are becoming very rampant.
Emergency health stakeholders are pushing for higher professional standards and stronger interagency coordination to improve service delivery. The call was made at the opening of Batch 5 of the Military Emergency Medical Technician Training Program at the 37 Military Hospital in Accra.
The ceremony brought together personnel from the Ghana Armed Forces Health Service, the National Ambulance Service and other health sector stakeholders to deliberate on operational challenges affecting emergency medical delivery. Key among the issues discussed were response time, logistics, equipment deficits and coordination between agencies. Director of Policy, Planning, Research, Monitoring and Evaluation at the National Ambulance Service, Dr. Simon Nyaba, urged the trainees to see their role as a national responsibility that goes beyond routine duty. He stressed that discipline, integrity and respect for human life must remain central to their work.
Emergency medicine demands more than speed. It requires sound judgment under pressure, teamwork in chaotic environments, and compassion in moments of crisis. Through this training, you will acquire essential skills in trauma care, patient stabilization, evacuation procedures, first aid, and comprehensive pre-hospital emergency response. These are not merely technical competencies, they are life-saving responsibilities.
Emergency response is a critical link in healthcare delivery and requires seamless coordination between pre-hospital teams and receiving health facilities, and the expansion of emergency services must correspond with healthcare institutions to ensure continuity of care from the scene of incident to definitive treatment. The training forms part of ongoing efforts to strengthen Ghana's emergency response capacity and improve outcomes in both military and civilian operations.
Complying strictly with guidelines for the allocation of the District Assembly's Common Fund is non-negotiable, and the Metropolitan, Municipal and District Assemblies MMDAs must take note and be ready to account for every pesewa of the money, while ensuring that every project or program implemented with the fund makes positive impact on the beneficiary communities. The Deputy Minister for Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Madam Rita Nao-Dole-Soa, gave the warning at Kasin, the Asokwa municipality of the Ashanti region, during the validation and signing of performance contracts by regional ministers and their coordinating directors.
Contract entails specific key performance indicators meant to guide the regional ministers and the regional coordinating directors in performing their functions under the Local Government Law Act 936 of 2016 as amended. Apart from the Western Regional Minister, all the remaining 15 regional ministers and 16 regional coordinating directors committed themselves to the performance contract for this year. They were first taken through a PowerPoint presentation of all the key performance indicators (KPIs) meant to be complied with towards effective and efficient general administration, resource utilization, and the creation of secure and safe workplace for both staff and visitors to the regional offices. The KPIs mandate the regional ministers to organize at least one Regional Security Council RECSEC meeting every month and fully implement decisions taken at the previous meeting, organize at least one joint RCC meeting every year, monitor and coordinate the setting up and functionality of substructures of the MMDAs within their respective jurisdictions, and submit reports to the Office of the Head of Local Government by 31st of December this year. They are also to submit action plans for the ensuing year, among others. The Ashanti Regional Minister, Dr. Frank Amakohene, described a performance contract as pertinent for accountability and efficiency.
The performance contract is a powerful tool that strengthens accountability, it promotes efficiency, and aligns our collective efforts and national developmental priorities. The validation and the signing of the proposed key performance indicators will ensure that our targets are realistic, measurable, and responsive to the developmental needs of our region.
The head of the Local Government Service, Professor Lord Mensah, urged the regional ministers and the coordinating directors to integrate the KPIs into the performance appraisal of their members of staff and advise strategic measures for implementation and achievement. The Deputy Minister for Local Government, Rural Development, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, Madam Retona Odole-Sowa, noted that government has purposely increased the quota of the District Assembly's Common Fund allocation to the MMDAs to bring real socioeconomic development to the local level. Government would therefore expect the assemblies to account for every pesewa of the funds.
Under this government, the direct disbursement of the District Assembly's Common Fund, as you are all aware, has increased from 50% to 88%. This unprecedented increase means that every assembly in the country now receives substantial amounts of money each quarter to implement development projects, deliver essential services, and respond to the pressing needs of their communities.
The performance contract signing was witnessed by the chairperson of the Local Government Council, Madam Akwasina Danswa, and some other officials. For GBC News, Nicholas Osewusu, Kasi.
Now, President John Mahama, on behalf of the government and people of Ghana, has expressed condolences to the families of 7 Ghanaians killed in a terrorist attack at Titao in Burkina Faso. The president says the military has been directed to airlift the injured to Accra for further medical treatment. President Mahama made the remarks while opening the 4-day Ghana Tree Crop Investment Summit and exhibition in Accra.
We live in a dangerous sub-region, and a recent incident has shown what the threat of instability and insecurity is to our regional integration and trade. As has been the tradition over decades, we trade amongst ourselves, and so agricultural products from Ghana are traded into Burkina Faso, and agricultural products from Burkina Faso, Niger, onions, tomatoes are traded into Ghana. Recently, some traders from Ghana went to Burkina Faso to buy tomatoes, and they were ambushed in a village where they were transacting, and armed insurgents, terrorist armed groups attacked, and unfortunately, we lost a number of our compatriots. Happily, there are few survivors, and so the Ghana Army is arranging to medevac them from Burkina Faso so that those who are injured can continue to receive treatment here in Ghana. And so on behalf of government and people, we express our condolences to the families of those who were either killed or have been injured.
Now let's get back to the Bono region, where the police have killed one suspected armed robber and seized a cache of weapons and ammunition after a shootout in Doma in the Bono region. The Bono Regional Police Commander DCOP Joshua Copson disclosed this to the media in Sunyani.
The Bono Regional Commander DCOP Joshua Copson said they got wind of plans by an armed robbery gang to attack traders plying the Doma in Kro Gonokrom Road. They then dispatched a team to the area who engaged in a shootout with the suspected robbers, leading to the killing of one of them and seizure of a cache of weapons.
On 11 February 2026, police intelligence indicated that a gang had planned an attack on traders traveling along Doma-Gonokrom Highway. Surveillance teams were immediately deployed to foil the intended robbery. In the early hours of 12 February 2026, officers advancing near a parked motorbike came under gunfire from nearby bushes. Police returned fire, and a search at daybreak found one male suspect dead with an AK-47 rifle beside him. A further search led to the recovery of a sack containing additional weapons and ammunition, including 2 Baikal single-barrel guns, a pump-action gun, 1 Beretta pistol loaded with 3 rounds of 9mm ammunition, plus 34 rounds of 9mm ammunition, 1 AK-47 rifle loaded with 11 rounds of ammunition, plus 10 rounds of ammunition, 39 rounds of BP cartridge, 1 dagger, a mobile phone, a Honda motorbike, a black mask, and a set of talismans. The body of the deceased had been deposited at the police hospital morgue for preservation, identification, and autopsy.
The Regional Police Command also said the Brekum-Sampa Highway is safe for now, but called for more information from the public, emphasizing that such criminals move from place to place.
But the most important thing is we being able to get the information. You and I know when the policeman is standing here, no criminal will act. You understand? You wait for the policeman to leave the police. So then that is where you, the civilian, you come in. So where are the criminals coming from? They are living with us. And so if we would all put our eyes on the ground, we should be able to fish out some of these people. If you give us an information and we monitor the person and we realize, oh, this is a genuine person, so be it. Of course, we protect your identity. But you live in a community, you see some kind of skirmishes from some group of boys or some elderly people, just tell us. And then we will put the surveillance team on them. If they are
Participants at a pre-conference organized by the Pediatric Society of Ghana have warned against prenatal exposure to heavy metals, which has been linked to significant impairment in children's neurological development and cognitive abilities, which include delayed learning and memory deficits and other birth defects. This information is credited to a professor of chemical pathology at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, KNUST, Professor Paul Osei Sampene.
The conference also brought to the fore issues that need urgent attention, especially issues such as the negative effects of galamsey, particularly on pregnant women and children, and to come up with measures that would help mitigate them. In recent years, Ghana has witnessed a significant increase in environmental health concerns, with rising rates of respiratory diseases, cancer, and other health issues affecting children. One of the key objectives of the conference is to examine the effects of air and water pollution on children's health, the impact of climate change on child health and well-being, and identify strategies to reduce exposure to environmental health risk and make recommendations for policymakers and stakeholders. A co-chair, Climate Change and Environmental Health Committee of the Pediatric Society, Dr. Sarah Johnson Atunaje, spoke about the impact of the situation on children's health.
We are seeing as pediatricians, we are seeing children and adults with asthma attacks, right, and allergies. I don't know about you, but for me, just even in the last 5 days, I've had several friends come with sunburns, maybe you've been seeing, right, because of the heat from the sun. And so we know all of these things are affecting our bodies. And what I am so sad about is that here I've been coming and going to Ghana for almost 30 years. And what I'm so sad now that I see my age mates, right, in their 40s and 50s, that they are dying. They are dying from stroke.
A health specialist from UNICEF, Dr. Emmanuel Tremantin Amwa, spoke on the need to protect the health of children.
We know that children are more vulnerable, that is, they easily get affected by the things in the environment, the air that they are breathing in, the water that they are drinking, food that they are eating. If there are harmful substances in them, it impacts children. And we're looking at some of the chemicals that we have found recently on lead, cadmium, arsenic, and mercury. These things in the water body. We've also found some in some of the foods that are around that children are consuming. And what is striking and disturbing is that even when pregnant women take these foods and contaminated things from the environment, it affects the unborn baby who is in the womb. So it is a call for all of us to wake up and be mindful of what we are doing to the environment to ensure that we have healthy and safer environment for our children.
A pediatric nephrologist at the Children's Hospital, Philadelphia, Dr. Selassie Gokar, disclosed that environmental effects on kidney health from the womb results in preterm births and reduced nephron mass and leads to chronic kidney diseases. Heavy metals from the activities of illegal mining also lead to various health complications.
Now, the second edition of the Accra Ramadan Souk has opened at the National Mosque in Accra, bringing together entrepreneurs, families, and members of the Muslim community to foster business growth in the lead-up to Ramadan.
The event, held under the theme From Souk to Success, Daring and Defining Impact, blended commerce, networking, and family-oriented activities. Highlights included product exhibitions, a kids arena, a photo booth, and a business summit aimed at empowering entrepreneurs and encouraging innovation within the community as Ramadan approaches. The organizer of the event, Najat Yakubu, explained that the initiative was designed to provide a platform for small and medium-scale businesses to expand their visibility and tap into the economic opportunities associated with the Ramadan season.
It's a pre-Ramadan festival, so it happens once every year where we have people who sell Ramadan essentials come and display their items and sell them in discounted prices.
Participants describe the platform as both timely and beneficial, noting that the souk offers direct access to customers while helping the business build networks that could extend beyond the Ramadan period. They expressed optimism that the exposure gained from the event will translate into sustained growth for their enterprises.
Our cheke is very delicious. We are using the Accra Ramadan Souk platform to launch the business.
This one is called Sandal Bangay. We have sandalwood, we have sandal balls, we have Z exclusive.
We have cosmetics, oil, perfume, spray, and then kaya mat, and we do facials and then full body treatments.
Now let's stay a bit more on Ramadan, because in anticipation of the holy month of fasting, the National Mosque of Ghana has introduced the Marhaba Ramadan program. This is designed to prepare the faithful not only for the discipline of Ramadan, but also for the enduring piety expected beyond the season.
The Mahaba Ramadan program, organized by the Office of the National Mosque under the auspices of the National Chief Imam, Sheikh Osman Nuhu Sharbutu, seeks to remind Muslims of the spiritual, moral, and social responsibilities of Ramadan. Organizers emphasized that the initiative is meant to inspire lasting piety beyond the holy month, fostering discipline, charity, and peaceful coexistence. The personnel assistant to the Chief Imam, Dr. Abubakar Mohammed Mazouk Azindo, explained that the program is part of structured activities to officially usher in Ramadan.
It is important for all of us to ensure that at the end of the fasting, we will not only acquire spiritual cleansing, we will also have a high level of behavioral refinery so that we will tell the whole world that we have moved totally from negativity to positivity.
The guest speaker, Mr. Ohun Casey, urged Muslims to purify their hearts, intensify prayers, and embrace unity, describing Ramadan as a training ground for lifelong righteousness. The director of the Hudai Foundation and financiers of the National Mosque, Mr. Ramzi Sika, announced plans to distribute 7,000 food packages to vulnerable families to support them throughout the fasting period and beyond.
We are targeting about 15 to 20,000 donations that we'll be doing from iftar to food packet distribution and sahur.
The event featured Ramadan Anashid, Islamic drama, and a quiz, all aimed at educating and uplifting participants ahead of the sacred month. Organizers noted that the Welcome Ramadan program will continue to serve as a platform to prepare the Muslim community and promote sustained piety beyond Ramadan.
The Ayawaso North Municipal Assembly has held a community engagement with residents of the Timber Market electoral area to educate them on the importance of paying property rates and business operating licenses.
The engagement is part of a project initiated by the Assembly to improve revenue mobilization and enhance community understanding of municipal tax obligations. The officials also introduced a new system known as the TO Code, designed to help landlords and business owners better understand and track their property and business tax responsibilities. Addressing the gathering, Mr. Christopher Kodiabo explained the processes involved in the new system and demonstrated how it would operate. He informed residents that Assembly officials would be visiting homes and business premises to implement the system and encouraged the public to cooperate fully. Residents were given the opportunity to ask questions, share their concerns, and seek clarification on the new measures. Community members appreciated the engagement and the clarity provided by the officials. At the end of the meeting, residents pledged their readiness to comply with the Assembly's officials and support the initiative when implementation begins.
Time to take our first break. We'll be back shortly with more news. Please stay tuned.
We shall tell our own stories, narrate our own details, watch the continent with our own spectacles and through our own lenses. We shall tell our stories better, the ups and downs, the pleasant and unpleasant without a slant. Stories from Africa, by Africans, told by Africans, understood by the world. All this and more within Africa on Tuesdays and Fridays at 4:05 p.m. on GBC News. Within Africa with Maltiti.
In 1965, Ghana chose her own value. From cowries and pounds the city was born, our pride in our own hands. It flowed through markets, palms, and memories, and became part of daily life. Through every season of change, the city has remained a constant in Ghanaian life. In 2007, we took a bold step, ushering in a new era of confidence and stability. Today, the city lives in banks, markets, and apps, rooted in tradition, shaped by history, carried by innovation. 60 years on, it remains our heritage, our identity, our pride. Know the city. Keep it clean.
Meet Kwame. He's not just any Kwame. He's Kwame the TV license legend. Kwame knows that by paying his TV license, he's supporting GBC, our public service broadcaster, and he's making a real difference. Kwame's contribution helps bring our communities closer together. Because of Kwame and others like him, we will all have access to amazing TV programs, educational content, plus broadcasting infrastructures are maintained and our culture is beautifully promoted. So GBC is asking all to respond to this civic obligation and pay your TV license fee. For individuals, it's 3 CDs per month or 36 CDs per year. If you have multiple sets, meaning 2 or more in your household, it's 60 CDs per year. For commercial institutions, it's your number of TV sets by 36 CDs per year, and you pay the invoiced amount directly to GBC. So let's all take a moment to appreciate Kwame, the TV license legend. Wherever you are, just dial *447*333# and follow the prompt. It's your civic duty, so pay your TV license today. GBC, the authentic and trusted voice of Ghana.
Welcome back from the break. You're still live on News Hour. Let's do some more stories. And a number of farmers have undergone training in modern technology in food production at the Crops Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research at Fimesia near Kumasi. The participants, who included extension officers and staff of the Ministry of Food and Agriculture, were also trained in seed production.
The training of youth in modern agriculture and seed growers on good agronomic practices was organized by the Crops Research Institute of the Council for Scientific and Industrial Research, CSIR. The training focused mainly on rapid multiplication of cassava planting materials. The participants were also trained in modern ways of producing soybean, cowpea, yam, maize, and rice. The director of Crops Research Institute, Professor Maxwell Asante, explained why the call on researchers to concentrate attention on modernizing agriculture.
The technologies are mainly about root and tubers. We feel this will eventually improve productivity in farmers' fields.
A senior research scientist at the Crops Research Institute, Professor Emmanuel Utu, said thousands of farmers in the sub-region are expected to benefit from the program.
The population is growing. Our farming population too will be growing, and equipped with better tools, they can produce enough to export. So invariably, we will benefit from such a training.
2 of the participants spoke to GBC News.
Farming is a business. So when you are doing business, you have to do it properly so that you get profit.
Farmers group, I train them. I try to say the basic idea by Reno. Nienya na more. Tia nunti na mama ba training the abuwa men.
In business news, the Ghana Cocoa Board has announced salary cuts for its executive management and senior staff as part of efforts to manage ongoing financial pressures in the cocoa sector. According to Cocoa Board, the decision affects the remainder of the 2025-2026 crop year and takes effect immediately. The statement by the Ghana Cocoa Board indicated that the executive management will take a 20% salary cut, while senior staff members have agreed to a 10% reduction in their salaries. The board further stated that the move is in recognition of the current challenges in the cocoa industry and forms part of sweeping cost-cutting measures aimed at stabilizing operations. Cocoa Board added that the salary cuts are not the only measures being enforced. Management is also following cost-cutting in procurement and undertaking a staff rationalization exercise to reduce overall expenditure and better align cost with revenue. Now, 228 selected youth have graduated from a 6-month skills training at the Kumasi Technical Institute. The graduates, after the training, were equipped with employable skills and provided with startup kits, with some going home with $1,000 each to address developmental challenges in their communities.
The 6-month program was the initiative of Ascents and Art, the Design and Technology Institute, under its project dubbed Precision Quality Internship Graduation and Jobs, sponsored by MasterCard Foundation, was hosted at the Kumasi Technical Institute. The beneficiaries are mainly the youth who have passed through apprenticeship and lack the capital to start their own businesses to enable them engage others to reduce unemployment in the system. The General Manager of Ascents and Arts, the Design and Technology Institute, Bernice Gavo, said some of the beneficiaries have completed vocational programs with strong practical ability and desire to start their own enterprise and also lacks access to mentorship and adequate capital required to translate skill into sustainable businesses.
It's not just about the graduation, because we've also brought the Jobs and Opportunities Fair to Kumasi. So right after the graduation, our interns get to come out here and pitch for jobs on the spot. We've invited students from all other institutions in Kumasi to also come and take part in this crucial program.
The Ashanti Regional Manager of TVET, Engineer Paul Adojimfi, said his outfit is ready to collaborate with institutions that are ready to assist in addressing the challenge of huge youth unemployment in the country.
I believe that these are the qualities, these are the job skills that the job market employers are looking for, and therefore as a TVET provider, the #1 TVET provider in Ghana and in sub-Saharan Africa, we need to take this program very serious.
Beneficiary of the program, Felix Owusu, shared his experience with GBC News.
With everything, if you are determined and then motivated, I think you'll be able to achieve whatever that you want to achieve. So I'll urge everyone out there that precision quality is real, and they offer you the skill needed for the industry. And fortunately enough, they also offer starter kits that you can use to start your own business.
The graduates received certificates and startup kits as well as capital to start their businesses.
Now time to find out how the cedi performed on the interbank market as well as check prices of the commodities.
We shall tell our own stories, narrate our own details, watch the continent with our own spectacles and through our own lenses. We shall tell our stories better, the ups and downs, the pleasant and unpleasant without a slant. Stories from Africa, by Africans, told by Africans, understood by the world. All this and more within Africa on Tuesdays and Fridays at 4:05 p.m. on GBC News. Within Africa with Maltiti.
In 1965, Ghana chose her own value. From cowries and pounds, the city was born. Our pride in our own hands. It flowed through markets, palms, and memories, and became part of daily life. Through every season of change, the city has remained a constant in Ghanaian life. In 2007, we took a bold step, ushering in a new era of confidence and stability. Today, the city lives in banks, markets, and apps, rooted in tradition, shaped by history, carried by innovation. 60 years on, it remains our heritage, our identity, our pride. Know the city. Keep it clean.
Welcome back from the break. You're still watching News Hour live on GTV and GBC News. Now, before we head to foreign news, let's take some more stories on President Mahama, who has said that the decline in global cocoa prices underscores the urgent need for Ghana to process more of its cocoa locally to add value and protect farmers' incomes. Identifying himself as a cocoa farmer, the president noted that he is equally impacted by the drop in producer price, reinforcing the importance of strengthening local processing to stabilize earnings.
Recently, we've had a crisis with cocoa. It hasn't affected only Ghana. It's affected all cocoa producing countries. And it shows how unstable raw material exports are if you don't process and add value. And that means that we must take advantage of this crisis to make a pivotal change in how we handle our raw exports. And we've exported raw beans since Gordon Gaggisberg's time. For those of you who don't know Gordon Gaggisberg, he was one of the colonial governors. And Ghana, at that time, was the leading exporter of cocoa. And to think that in the 21st century, we are still the largest leading exporter of raw cocoa beans, that is not an accolade we should take pride in. We should take pride in being the leading exporter of manufactured cocoa products. And so this crisis must mark a turning point in our cocoa industry. As I explained when I spoke in Addis, so in whatever geographical area of the country you are, if it's in the north, a shea nut plantation, if it's in Brongahafu area, cashew, if you're in western region, rubber, cocoa, and if you're in Dodoa area and other places, mango. And so all of us must take an interest in the agricultural sector, and especially in tree crops. I want to thank Nana Kwebu-Ewusi. Andy referred to my own tree crop farm. Nana Kwebu-Ewusi gave me 50 acres of land, and I planted cocoa on the 50 acres. So I'm a cocoa farmer. And so when the price was reduced by government, it affects me too. I want to be able to empathize with farmers so that when we take any policy decision, we know that it has an effect on farmers, and we feel it ourselves. If there's no fertilizer, if the price of fertilizer is expensive, I feel it myself because I also buy fertilizer.
In international news, the head of Niger's military junta has declared the start of a new dynamic with Algeria. General Abdurrahman Tiani met with Algerian President Abdelmadjid Tebboune in Algiers on Monday to announce the construction of a new gas pipeline. Tebboune said the visit marked the end to an abnormal period of chilliness between the two countries. Algeria shot down a drone from Mali, a member of the Alliance of Sahel states to which Niger and Burkina Faso also belong. All three nations recalled the ambassadors to Algiers following the incident, and Algeria followed suit. The new pipeline runs from Algeria to Nigeria and will cross the territory of Niger. Initial steps are due to start after Ramadan. A strike delayed flights at Kenya's main airport as workers demanded better pay and improved work conditions. Kenya Airways, the East African country's main airline, issued a travel advisory urging customers to check their flight status before heading to the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport in Nairobi. The statement also said that air traffic control operational delays were affecting departures and arrivals, and that flight schedules would have to be adjusted. Passengers are advised not to proceed to the airport without a confirmed flight status. The airline said thousands of stranded passengers could be seen sitting outside the airport. Some families told the Associated Press their relatives were stuck inside terminals. The Kenya's Airport Authority said it had taken contingency measures to minimize disruptions as it sought to resolve the ongoing strike, stressing its openness to constructive dialogue. Airport workers issued a strike notice last week after an agreement between the union and authorities to improve labor conditions, pay and benefits stalled. The airport is a major transport hub for regional and international travel. In sports news, the Ministry for Sport and Recreation has officially inaugurated the local organizing committee for the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Sub-Regional Africa Qualifier B, scheduled to take place from March 23 to 29, 2026 at the Achimota Cricket Oval. The 7-member LOC is chaired by Mr. Ni Okai Evans Amfum.
The Achimota Cricket Oval will come alive as Ghana hosts the ICC Men's T20 World Cup Sub-Regional Africa Qualifier B, scheduled to take place from March 23 to 29, 2026. To ensure smooth and successful hosting of the event, the Minister for Sports and Recreation, Mr. Kofi Adams, has inaugurated a 7-member local organizing committee for the tournament. The LOC are expected to use the tournament to promote the sport, boost tourism, and deepen community participation across the country. The Minister for Sports and Recreation, Mr. Kofi Adams, described the inauguration as a critical milestone in Ghana's sports development agenda. The minister cited Ghana's successful hosting of the 13th African Games as evidence of its organizational strength, cultural appeal, and warm hospitality. The chairman of the LOC, Mr. Ni Okai Evans Amfum, expressed gratitude to the ministry for the confidence reposed in the committee, assuring that the team will work tirelessly to deliver a professional and memorable tournament. The 7-member LOC has Mr. Ni Okai Evans Amfum as chairman, Mr. Nihal Abbas, Mr. Evans Douglas Jaben, Madame Evelyn Amele Nunu Amatefiu, Mr. Horin Kwashiga, Mr. Samuel Ayer, and Madame Gifty Fiano as members. As Ghana and the Ghana Cricket Association prepares to welcome Africa for the Cricket Showdown, the inauguration of the LOC committee is seen as a decisive move towards staging a successful tournament and strengthening Ghana's growing reputation as a destination for international sporting events. 6 countries will compete in the qualifiers, with host nation Ghana joined by Eswatini, Tanzania, Seychelles, St. Helena, and Malawi. Matches will be played at the Achimota Cricket Oval, where the teams will face each other in a single round-robin format, with the top 2 sides progressing to the next stage of the competition.
The Minister for Sport and Recreation, Mr. Kofi Adams, has met with the leadership of the Sports Writers Association of Ghana, SWAG, for what he described as an engaging and forward-looking discussion on the future of sports development in the country.
The meeting brought together policymakers and sports journalists whose work continues to shape how Ghanaian sports stories are told, celebrated, and preserved. Over the years, SWAG has played a key role in giving visibility to athletes and sporting institutions, both at home and on the international stage. The minister commended the association for its dedication and professionalism, noting that strong and responsible sports journalism remains vital to the growth of the sector. Discussions at the meeting focused on the Ghana Sports Fund, grassroots sports development, the need for improved infrastructure, and building capacity within sports media. The minister stressed that constructive journalism and collaboration among stakeholders are critical to repositioning sports as a meaningful driver of national development. For members of SWAG, the engagement was also personal, a reminder that their stories help inspire young athletes, spotlight emerging talent, and keep the nation connected to its sporting heroes and heroines. With a shared commitment to unity of purpose, both sides express optimism about strengthening Ghana's sports ecosystem for the benefit of young athletes and the country as a whole.
The Greater Accra Regional Ramadan Health Walk has been held in Accra. More than 1,000 youth participated.
Under the theme Reset and Rise, Zongo Youth for Jobs and Skills, the walk was designed not only to promote healthy living, but also to draw attention to the growing need for employment opportunities and skills development among Zongo youth. Participants began the early morning walk at the Kwame Nkrumah Circle interchange as early 6 a.m. and ended at the Rollins Park in Mokola in Accra. Along the route, organizers hope the walk will mobilize resilience, discipline, and collective progress, values strongly associated with Ramadan. The event, organized by the Concerned Zongo Youth Group in collaboration with the Ayub Jibril Group of Companies and LIM Pharma Limited, seeks to blend physical wellness with social empowerment at the start of the holy month of Ramadan. Beyond the walk itself, the over 1,000 participants benefited from a free registration onto the National Health Insurance Scheme, reinforcing the message that good health remains a foundation for productivity and personal growth.
Drug addiction has become the order of the day within the Zongo. It is not in our interest to engage in that, because what it simply means is that we are destroying the future of our community. And that is a disturbing development that I would like to encourage everyone within the Zongo community to rise up and support the effort to eradicate the menace of drug abuse within our community.
This particularly is about advocacy about health, and then likewise preparation towards Ramadan. So everybody out there should be cautious about Ramadan coming, what we take, how we go about Ramadan so far. So we pray Ramadan meet us safely, and then we participate. We'll be part of 2016 Ramadan.
Organizers say the initiative is a call for young people to reset their minds, rise above challenges, and actively pursue skills that can secure their future while staying healthy in body and spirit. That's a nice one.
As young people across Ghana celebrated Chocolate Day with parties and outings, The Shalom Parish of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church Ghana at Dansoman took a different approach, dedicating the day to spiritual growth and meaningful reflection. Through its youth-focused service themed Love Conquers All, the church encouraged young congregants to explore God's love, personal discipline, and the importance of purposeful living amid Valentine's Day celebrations.
Day widely celebrated as a day of love and affection, often sees young people throng entertainment centers and social events. However, leadership of the Shalom Parish of the Evangelical Presbyterian Church encouraged young members to remain in the house of God, describing the season as one that should reflect not only romantic love, but also God's love and responsible living. Reverend Magnus Yautedoku is the parish pastor of EP Church Ghana, Shalom Parish, Dansoman.
As Christians, we have the power to modify what is being done, and that is what we are currently doing now, to modify what is being done in the past, so that we can make it Christianized, so that it will not bring any problem to people. So today is a day of love for all of us to celebrate.
The event featured lively performances by the Ghana Armed Forces Band, alongside other musical presentations, creating an atmosphere of praise and celebration. Church leaders noted that while there is nothing wrong with celebrating love, young people must remain mindful of potential negative influences that sometimes accompany such festive seasons. They encouraged participants to prioritize discipline, spiritual grounding, and purposeful living. Some young participants said celebrating Valentine's Day in church allowed them to reflect on their purpose, strengthened their commitment to Christian values, and offered a wholesome alternative to parties and social gatherings.
I believe church is like family, and we are here with our family, so it's fun here as well. And moreover, we can always postpone our outing with our loved ones, so it's fine.
God, in His own wisdom, has gifted us this kind of love. Who are we to hold grudges against each other in the church? So I encourage each and every one of us and the entire world to be forgiven as a church and as a Christian society.
The program is part of ongoing efforts to provide safe and spiritually enriching spaces for the youth, especially during festive periods, guiding them toward responsible and value-driven lifestyles.
The residents of Ablekuma-Joma in the Ga West constituency of the Greater Accra region have begun activities ahead of this year's biennial Northern Festival under the theme Celebrating Our Heritage, Building Peace and Empowering the Youth Through Education for Inclusive Development in the North. The community is using culture and spirituality to promote unity, peace, and youth development. Here is more in the following report.
The atmosphere at Ablekuma-Joma was filled with culture and spirituality as residents gathered in preparation for the much-anticipated Northern Festival. The biennial celebration brings together people of Northern descent living in the Greater Accra region to reconnect with their roots and strengthen communal bonds. This year's theme focuses on celebrating heritage, building peace, and empowering the youth through education as a pathway to inclusive development in Northern Ghana. There were also displays of rich Northern culture through traditional attire, music, and customs that reflect the diversity and identity of the people. A representative of the Yana of the Dagbon Kingdom, the Nantong Na, underscored the need for peace, unity, and social cohesion as essential tools for sustainable development.
Festivals are the cornerstone of our identity, promoting cultural exchange, education, and national pride. Let us cherish these moments and draw inspirations from our heritage for our collective benefit.
Residents expressed optimism that the festival will not only strengthen cultural ties but also promote harmony and development within Ablekuma-Joma and beyond.
Well, that's all in this afternoon's package, but there's more news at gbcghanaonline.com. Please log on for more news. Thanks for staying tuned. My name is Doreen Ampofu. Bye for now.
Meet Kwame. He's not just any Kwame. He's Kwame the TV license legend. Kwame knows that by paying his TV license, he's supporting GBC, our public service broadcaster, and he's making a real difference. Kwame's contribution helps bring our communities closer together. Because of Kwame and others like him, we will all have access to amazing TV programs, educational content, plus broadcasting infrastructures are maintained and our culture is beautifully promoted. So GBC is asking all to respond to this civic obligation and pay your TV license fee. For individuals, it's 3 CDs per month or 36 CDs per year. If you have multiple sets, meaning 2 or more in your household, it's 60 CDs per year. For commercial institutions, it's your number of TV sets by 36 CDs per year, and you pay the invoiced amount directly to GBC. So let's all take a moment to appreciate Kwame, the TV license legend. Wherever you are, just dial *447 *333# and follow the prompt. It's your civic duty, so pay your TV license today. GBC, the authentic and trusted voice of Ghana.
A total of 12 Palestinians, including 9 women and 3 children, returned to the war-torn Gaza Strip from Egypt on Monday, the first day of the official reopening of the Rafah crossing, said a statement released by the Ministry of Interior and National Security in Gaza on Tuesday. All the 12 people received medical assistance and completed the necessary entry procedures. Located at Gaza's southern border with Egypt, the Rafah crossing has been largely closed since May 2024, when Israeli forces took control of the Palestinian side of the crossing. Prior to its closure, Rafah had served as Gaza's main gateway to the outside world and a key entry point for international humanitarian aid. The crossing began a trial operation on February 1 and was officially reopened on February 2, allowing limited two-way access to people under restricted conditions. Meanwhile, the Palestinian Islamic Resistance Movement, Hamas, issued a statement on Tuesday condemning Israel's detention and harsh screening of Palestinian returnees at the Rafah crossing. Hamas said the measures went beyond normal security checks and were intended to intimidate civilians and prevent them from returning home. Hamas called on Israel to comply with the second phase of the Gaza ceasefire agreement by fully and unrestrictedly reopening the Rafah crossing and ensuring the safety and freedom of access of people.
Millions of families in displacement camps in Yemen are enduring freezing conditions in tents that offer little protection amid one of the country's harshest winters in recent years. With international aid in short supply, each day of suffering becomes a new battle in the struggle to survive. Inside a tattered tent in a camp north of Sana'a, Safiya lives with a family of 18. The shelter cannot keep out the wind or block the rain, and plunging overnight temperatures add to the misery. A family that fled in search of safety now faces a cold that shows no mercy. Humanitarian agencies said most of Yemen's 4.5 million internally displaced people are living in camps without adequate winter clothing, blankets, or proper shelter. Field reports show that conditions are deteriorating in 45 camps across 12 provinces, with deaths reported, particularly among children and the elderly. With humanitarian funding on the decline, special winter assistance provided by some organizations remains limited and falls far short of meeting growing needs. But this crisis is not driven by the cold alone. Years of instability and political complexity in Yemen have undermined long-term humanitarian responses. While relief organizations have expanded their efforts in the past, aid workers say increasing assistance alone is not a lasting solution.
A system of standards for China's low-altitude economy is expected to be basically established by 2027. According to guidelines published on Monday, the guidelines state that by 2030, there will be more than 300 standards for the low-altitude economy, and a structurally optimized, advanced, measurable, and internationally compatible standards system will be basically formed, providing strong support for the sector's sound development. The standard system will cover the entire industrial chain, including low-altitude aircraft, infrastructure, air traffic management, safety supervision, and application scenarios. China's low-altitude economy has entered a period of accelerated industrialization, forming a complete industrial ecosystem that spans technological R&D, equipment manufacturing, operations, services, and infrastructure construction. The guidelines were released by the State Administration for Market Regulation and several other critical government departments.
An estimated 182.48 million across regional passenger trips were expected nationwide on the second day of China's 2026 Spring Festival travel rush on Tuesday, as transport authorities are stepping up services to ensure smooth and safe journeys for holiday travelers. With the annual travel rush now underway, people across the country are setting out for family reunions, with railway, highway and civil aviation authorities increasing capacity, adding services and optimizing operations to meet the surging demand and safeguard orderly travel during the peak period. On the railway network, China was expected to handle 11.15 million passenger trips on Tuesday. A total of 879 additional passenger trains were scheduled to operate to ease congestion on busy routes. As of 8 a.m. on Tuesday, the National Railway Ticketing Platform 12306 had sold a cumulative 84.49 million tickets for the Spring Festival travel period. Civil aviation passenger members continue to rise, with airlines and airports nationwide expected to guarantee 19,352 flights and transport about 2.25 million passengers on Tuesday, representing a 0.7% increase from the previous day and a 2.5% rise compared with the same period in 2025. Airlines and airports have strengthened information services to help travelers access timely and accurate flight updates. On the roads, China's highway network operated smoothly on Tuesday.
China's 2026 #1 central document was released on Tuesday, outlining plans to advance agricultural and rural modernization and to promote all-round rural revitalization in the new year. As the first policy statement released by China's central authorities each year, the document is seen as an indicator of policy priorities on agricultural and rural work. The document calls for efforts to shore up weak links in agriculture and rural work and secure faster progress in building up China's strength in agriculture over the 15th five-year plan period, that's 2026 to 2030. The country must give top priority to the issues related to agriculture, rural areas, and rural residents, promote integrated urban-rural development, and ensure that policies aimed at strengthening agriculture, benefiting farmers, and enriching rural areas deliver greater outcomes. According to the document, it is imperative to safeguard national food security, continue to consolidate and expand achievements in poverty alleviation, strive to build agriculture into a modern pillar sector, basically ensure modern living conditions in rural areas, and enable farmers to enjoy more prosperous and better lives, the document points out.
China's top political advisor Wang Yuning met in Beijing on Monday with a delegation from the Liberal Democratic Party of Russia, headed by its chairman Leonid Slutsky. Wang, a member of the Standing Committee of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China Central Committee, said China is willing to work with Russia to implement the important consensus reached by the two heads of state, steadily consolidate strategic mutual trust, deepen good neighborly friendship and practical cooperation. advance party-to-party exchanges, and promote the building of a community with a shared future for humanity. Wang, also chairman of the National Committee of the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, also noted that the CPPCC stands ready to make positive contributions to achieve these goals. Slutsky said the Liberal Democratic Party of Russia is ready to step up exchanges with the CPC and work jointly to implement the important consensus reached by the two heads of state, noting that the Liberal Democratic Party of Russia firmly opposed the One China principle. Slutsky said it supports the two countries in deepening ties between their government and legislative bodies, enhancing coordination and cooperation within multilateral mechanisms such as the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and the BRICS, cementing traditional bilateral friendship and safeguarding the common interest of global South countries.
China announced Wednesday 6 major archaeological discoveries that were unearthed in 2025, offering fresh insights into the origins, development, and cultural diversity of ancient Chinese civilization. The findings, revealed in Beijing by the Chinese Academy of Social Sciences (CAS), highlight breakthroughs across periods from the Paleolithic Age to the Tang Dynasty. The first discovery takes us back to the Paleolithic Age at the Xingmiaozhuang site in Yangyang County, Hebei Province. Archaeologists carried out continuous excavations between 2022 and 2025, ultimately uncovering ancient human remains dating from roughly 120,000 to 13,000 years ago. These findings provide a rare and systematic body of evidence that deepens understanding of the origins and evolutionary path of modern humans in northern China. The second discovery was at the Peiligang site in Xinjiang City, Henan Province, which uncovered remains from both the Paleolithic and Neolithic periods. Excavations in 2025 revealed a multi-room building structure inside which archaeologists unearthed finely carved pottery sculptures featuring human face with fangs. Dating back approximately 8,000 to 7,500 years, the artifacts are believed to be linked to the spiritual beliefs of early inhabitants. The third discovery was at the Zhengjiaogu site in Hebei Province.
The China-Uruguay Trade and Investment Cooperation Forum was held in Beijing on Tuesday, bringing together officials and business leaders from both sides and serving as a key platform to advance economic engagement between the two sides. The event coincided with Uruguayan President Yomandú Ossi's week-long state visit to China from February 1 to 7 and came after he held talks with Chinese President Xi Jinping on Tuesday morning, during which the two leaders agreed to deepen cooperation across various sectors. More than 160 representatives of Chinese and Uruguayan enterprises from foreign trade, engineering, finance, telecommunication, tourism, and other sectors attended the forum. Uruguayan representatives expressed confidence in China's economic outlook and market vitality, saying there remains significant room to deepen trade and investment cooperation in the years ahead. Leonardo Code, Secretary General of the Uruguayan Chinese Chamber of Commerce, noted that Uruguay's unique position as a stable and open economy makes an ideal strategic partner through which to enter the Latin American market and outlined the country's collaborative vision. In 2025, the bilateral trade volume between China and Uruguay was $7.19 billion, including Chinese exports of $3.68 billion and imports of $3.51 billion, up by 9.2%, 12.8%, and 5.6% respectively.
Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi met with Li Haotung, Special Envoy of General Secretary of the Communist Party of Vietnam CPV Central Committee, Tulam, in Beijing on Tuesday. Wang, also a member of the Political Bureau of the Communist Party of China CPC Central Committee, offered his congratulations on the success of the 14th National Congress of CPV. Wang said that China is willing to work with Vietnam to follow the important consensus reached between the top leaders of the two parties and countries, grasp the strategic nature of bilateral relations, enhance the mutual benefits of bilateral cooperation, and highlight the particularity of the China-Vietnam friendship. China is also ready to continuously promote the construction of a China-Vietnam community with a shared future. Trung, a member of the Political Bureau of the CPV Central Committee and Minister of Foreign Affairs of Vietnam, said that Vietnam has always regarded its relations with China as its top priority and strategic choice and adhered firmly to the One China policy. Vietnam anticipates the joint elevation of the comprehensive strategic cooperative partnership between Vietnam and China.
A Chinese Spring Festival Temple Fair was held in Luanda, Angola from January 31 to February 1 local time, bringing festival celebrations and cultural experience to local residents. The event was jointly organized by the Chinese Embassy in Angola and the Ngombota Municipal Government of Luanda Province and undertaken by the Association of Chinese Enterprises in Angola and the China General Chamber of Commerce in Angola. Chinese Ambassador to Angola, Zhang Bing, and Ngombota Mayor Melka Kakis attended the event, noting that 2026 has been designated as the China-Africa Year of People-to-People Exchange. Zhang described the Temple Fair as the first cultural event under the framework and said China is ready to expand cooperation with Angola in cultural exchange, youth engagement, and talent development. Mayor Kaki said cooperation between Angola and China has produced tangible benefits and thanked China for sharing its traditions with the Angolan public, adding that Angola is keen to deepen exchanges and strengthen people-to-people links. Nearly 10,000 overseas Chinese, local Chinese community members, Angolan guests, and residents attended the Temple Fair.
The promotional video for China Media Group CMG's 2026 Spring Festival Gala was prominently featured at a cultural event held on Sunday in Cape Town, the legislative capital of South Africa. Held by the Cape Town Chinese community, the Chinese New Year 2026 celebration event was staged at the Victoria and Alfred waterfront, presenting local audiences and foreign visitors with a rich cultural feast infused with a spring festival atmosphere. The event also features a looped screening of the promotional video of CMG's 2026 Spring Festival Gala, China's most anticipated televised celebration of the Chinese New Year. The video artfully blended traditional Chinese New Year customs with modern visual aesthetics, enhancing the celebratory atmosphere and providing a rich auditory and visual experience that highlighted the unique charm and cultural depth of the Chinese New Year. This year's Spring Festival Gala is set to deliver a mesmerizing spectacle of Chinese New Year's Eve on February 16th, marking a cherished occasion for families to gather and celebrate the most important festival in the traditional Chinese calendar. Among the attendees of the celebration event were Chinese Consul General in Cape Town, Ren Fagyang, and officials from the Western Cape Province and the city of Cape Town. Gordon Hill Lewis, Mayor of Take Two, Gordon Hill Lewis, Mayor of Cape Town, sent his greetings via video messages.
Displaced Palestinians in Egypt expressed hope of reuniting with loved ones after news of the Rafah border reopening, with a chance to reunite with family, stirring both hope and painful memories of the war that tore them apart. Egyptian authorities said tens of thousands of Palestinians have registered for two-way travel through the Rafah border crossing, though the permitted number of daily trips remains unknown. Nearly a year has elapsed since Omar Zarib and his wife Hanim escaped the Israeli bombardment of Gaza. Now settled in Al Arish, Egypt, Omar remembers with vivid clarity the day the onslaught began. In May 2025, the couple got approved to accompany Zarib's critically ill parents for treatment to Egypt, leaving behind several family members. Seeking treatment in Egypt, kidney patient Yasser Mahmoud longs for his sister to join him from Gaza once the border reopens. The war has already taken his son, a loss that shadows his family's flight from home. For Mahmoud, the border offers a chance to reunite with his sister and children in Egypt. For Zarib, it is a path back to Gaza, where he dreams of rebuilding the life that was torn apart. Greenlandic Prime Minister Jens Frederik Nielsen on Monday condemned the United States for its, quote, condescending and divisive aim, unquote, toward Greenland. In a statement released ahead of an emergency session of the Inatsisartut, Greenland's parliament, Nielsen also reiterated that continued U.S. pressure on Greenland is unacceptable. Greenland has faced a difficult situation over the past 14 months, the Prime Minister said, citing repeated U.S. statements, including recent ones, regarding its intention to acquire Greenland. While the possibility of a military takeover has recently been disavowed, the United States continues to seek Greenland's attachment to and governance by the United States. Nielsen pointed out that such rhetoric comes not only from U.S. President Donald Trump, but also from other key U.S. decision makers and close allies, adding that they have a condescending and divisive aim toward Greenland and its people. In response, the government of Greenland has declared these attempts unacceptable and reiterated that Greenland is part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Nielsen also said that despite the tense situation, Greenland has begun a dialogue with the United States through high-level official channels, and its government will work to turn the talks into concrete results.
Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has ordered the start of negotiations with the United States within the framework of the nuclear issue, Iran's semi-official Fars news agency reported Monday, citing an unnamed government source. Fars, quoting Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghai's remarks earlier in the day as saying, added that talks between Iran and the United States will probably be held in Turkey in the next few days. Meanwhile, Iran's semi-official Tasnim news agency, quoting an unidentified informed source, also confirmed that senior officials from the two sides will probably begin negotiations in the coming days. The negotiations will probably be held between Iranian Foreign Minister Saeed Abbas Arashki and U.S. President Donald Trump's special envoy Steve Witkoff, Tasnim reported, adding that the venue and exact date of the negotiations have not been finalized yet. The developments come as tensions between Tehran and East January. On Sunday, Trump said, if Tehran fails to strike a nuclear deal with Washington, we will find out whether Iranian Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei was right to warn that a U.S. attack could ignite a regional war. Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Ismail Baghai said on Monday that Iran is reviewing the details and general outlines of a potential initiation of negotiations with the United States. He made the remarks at a weekly press conference in response to media reports that negotiations between Iran and the U.S. could start within the next few days in Turkey. Baghai denied that Iran had received any ultimatum from the U.S. and noted that Iran is at the decision-making stage. He said countries in the region are acting as intermediaries, exchanging messages between the two sides. Over the past decade, Iran has frequently seen deception and non-commitment to promises from the United States, which culminated in June last year when Israel and the United States attacked the country, Baghai said, adding that the other side's behavior features a clear contradiction. Baghai said Iran has always proved its steadfastness in adopting diplomatic approaches and using diplomacy to advance its national interests and protect collective peace in the region. The removal or reduction of U.S. sanctions will be an achievement for Iran whenever it takes place, he said, noting that Iran demands the removal of sanctions as a priority in return for building trust and removing concerns about the nature of its nuclear program.
Israel allowed only 5 of the many waiting Palestinian patients to exit the Gaza Strip via the Rafah border crossing on the first day of its opening on Monday. After nearly 18 months of closure, a large number of patients are in desperate need for medical treatment abroad. According to the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, OCHA, more than 18,500 patients, including 4,000 children, await medical evacuation from Gaza for treatment that is not available locally. However, the crossing is operating for only about 6 hours per day and is restricted to pedestrians only, according to a statement released by Israel's Defense Ministry. In addition to that, people are subjected to several rounds of security screening before they are allowed to pass. Israeli officials had previously said that up to 150 people per day would be allowed to leave Gaza during the initial phase of reopening. But Monday's operation showed that only a far lower number was achieved. The Rafah crossing has been almost completely closed since Israeli forces took control of it in May 2024, a move that effectively isolated the Gaza Strip from the outside world and deteriorated the humanitarian situation in the Palestinian enclave. A group of Japanese people gathered in front of the Ministry of Defense in Tokyo on Monday to voice their opposition to the government's sharp increase in defense spending and its continued push for the construction of a new U.S. military base at Henoko in Okinawa. The protesters from different regions and age groups expressed their strong dissatisfaction with Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi's current security policy and the heavy burden that the military base has imposed on Okinawa. During a Diet session on November 7, 2025, Takaichi said the Chinese mainland's use of force on Taiwan could constitute, quote, survival-threatening situation for Japan and imply the possibility of armed intervention in the Taiwan Strait. The protesters also expressed their concern about the changes in the security policies since Takaichi took office in October 2025, believing that related statements and policies made by the current administration are leading Japanese society as a whole toward a more dangerous direction. He said he thinks Japan is heading into a very dangerous situation after Takaichi took office and made the remarks regarding China-related issues, especially the Taiwan issue, indicating relations between China's Taiwan region and Japan. Meanwhile, the defense spending is also increasing, said another protester.